Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to this week's installment of Will I Buy It, the YouTube series in which every single week I sit down with you guys and we talk about new makeup releases and I discuss with you guys whether or not I want to purchase those items and why. This is always great fun on my channel and these videos are traditionally quite long, and today I do have quite a list of products to talk about, so I have no idea how long this will be. Hopefully it won't be too long, otherwise I will literally drive myself nuts while trying to edit this. But this is inspired by Samantha March. She has her own version of the series on her channel. She came up with this herself, and I of course like to always credit her every single week, and I always try to put her channel down below for you guys to actually check out. She has some really great videos and I'd highly recommend giving her channel a little bit of a peek. However, if this is your first time watching my channel, let me introduce myself. My name is Anya. I post makeup videos every single day and I love doing so. I specialize in like really colorful looks such as this one, and I also love doing a lot of like really great, in my opinion, analytical videos in which I talk about the industry, I talk about makeup, and I would highly recommend you guys check out my channel. I'll put it down below, of course, as I always do, and I'll put some recommendations in the cards if you have never seen my face and you're wondering what I'm about. There are some videos in the cards, and there will also be some videos and playlist recommendations at the end of this video as well. Benefit is releasing 2 new products this week. They have a brightening foundation with medium coverage. It's called the Hello Happy Flawless Brightening Foundation. Then they also have a powder, which is going to be called the Hello Happy Velvet Powder Foundation. The powder has 12 shades, and from what I can tell, the foundation has 7. Now, this actually confused me quite a bit because I was looking at the shade range and I felt like it was very limiting. I just don't feel like this looks like a very good shade range, but if you notice, they have different numbers on the packaging, and I feel that those different numbers are supposed to represent different shades. A lot of the numbers are being skipped. Maybe they're adding new shades that we're not seeing in this initial photo, but like, okay, my thing is, even if they're adding new shades, I hope that they're going to, I don't know, drastically improve the shade range, because like this, from what I can see right here in this photo, does not look like a good shade range, because they seem to have a few shades for light skin tones, but a very limiting selection of shades for deeper skin tones. Even like, I mean, I would say that even lighter skin tones, even like super light skin tones, would have issues finding a foundation in this range, let alone like super dark skin tones, because like this is, I think, a pretty crappy shade range in my personal opinion. Hopefully they'll expand, but I don't see why they wouldn't show us the entire shade range in the initial reveal. I also have to say that I'm not necessarily interested in a medium to full coverage foundation anyway. This is a brightening foundation, so I am inclined to believe that this might be a little bit of a lighter texture. Of course, yes, I'm on my no buy, so I'm not going to be buying any of this stuff in the video, but I'm just speaking hypothetically. If I was not on my no buy, I'll be looking at this and not necessarily interested in this at all. And of course, you guys know that I'm definitely not interested in powder, so the powder is most definitely going to be a pass as well. Tarte is launching a setting spray. It is cucumber scented. It is 16-hour wear, waterproof, sweat-proof, powered by aloe and cucumber. I'm just not into it at all. I don't really need a setting spray. I'm already good. I don't really need anything. Maybe this will be amazing, but I'm just not interested. Now, Morphe is releasing a Make Life Colorful Pride Live in Color collection to celebrate all the bold, brave LGBTQ plus babes and allies who inspire all of us to let our true colors shine. 100% of net proceeds from this collection will be donated to the Trevor Project during the Pride celebration to help fund 24/7 suicide prevention and crisis intervention services for LGBTQ youth. When I first looked at this, I was like, oh, this is Morphe trying to like basically make another launch, but then I was actually very pleasantly surprised to discover that they are donating to the Trevor Project. And unlike Tarte, who released their palette, I think it was last week, Morphe is donating 100% of the proceeds to the Trevor Project, which is completely different from just donating a set sum of money. Because, for example, Tarte, and I'm not trying to like intentionally compare or contrast, I'm just giving you guys an example. If you watched my previous video last week, you might have remembered that Tarte did donate $25,000 to the Trevor Project, and they're also selling these Rainbow Pride themed palettes. But Morphe is donating 100% of net proceeds to the Trevor Project. So I feel that Morphe is planning on donating a ton more money, which is of course fantastic. So, I mean, if you are interested in helping the Trevor Project and you really love this palette and the way it looks, then by all means, go and get it. I, however, will not be getting it because number one, I'm on my no-buy, and number two, I don't really need another colorful palette from Morphe. That's just how it is. Luminous Cosmetics is collaborating with Sir John Official and Disney to release the Lion King collection by Sir John X Luminous. And this basically includes several different products, including a Kingdom sculpting palette for $42, a Can't Wait to Be Queen eyeshadow palette for $42, a Be Brave matte lipstick, well, several of those, in 2 shades, including a nude and a bright red, each going to be retailing for $24, a Be Prepared liquid lipstick, that's also going to be $24, and they have 2 different shades of that, a Legacy tinted lip balm for $24, a Circle of Life highlighter for $40, and then the entire collection will be available as a vault for $250. If you are a fan of The Lion King and if you're really excited about the live action movie coming out soon, you might really like this. I personally love the packaging. I think it's really cool, really interesting. Is the color palette my cup of tea? Definitely not, but I feel that they are taking inspiration from the movie, and in that way, I feel like the palette sort of makes sense. But I feel that whenever I think Lion King, I think really bright, really warm tones, like a lot of warmth. This, to my mind, like this picture, and I'm talking specifically about the eyeshadow palette, this just looks very like cool tone / neutral, which is not what I envisioned. I mean, whenever I think of a color scheme related to The Lion King, I think of that scene in the cartoon, and yes, I know that this is inspired by the live action, but so far we have only seen the cartoon, haven't we? But whenever I think of a color scheme inspired by Lion King, I think of the beautiful like African sunset that they portrayed in the cartoon. Like there's just like the really bright, vivid reds, oranges, maybe a little bit of pink, like, or maybe not pink, but like really bright, vivid, warm colors. That's what I think. So this, in my mind, is kind of lackluster. I personally don't find it that interesting. So this is going to be a pass, definitely. I mean, it's a nice collection, but it's not my cup of tea. I do like the lip products. They look kind of relatively interesting. Definitely would not be interested in the tinted lip balm. I wouldn't really say that I'm interested in the face palette that they have here as well. But yeah, the packaging is for me the star of the show. I feel like the packaging looks interesting. Everything else, not so much. We have another bright, beautiful rainbow palette from the brand Ruby May Cosmetics. These are indie brands. This is an indie brand, by the way, and they are going to be launching this palette called the New Brights palette. It is available now for pre-order and it ships June 10th. I don't have pricing right here, but from what I can tell, this palette will consist of 8 different colors. It's a rainbow palette. They have a few shades of blue in here, but mostly I would consider this a rainbow palette. I feel that, in my personal opinion, I do not necessarily feel that at the moment I need to have more colorful rainbow palettes, if you will, in my collection. I feel like right now I have so many that I don't necessarily need any more color stories that are rainbow-esque in my personal eyeshadow collection, which is why this would definitely be a pass for me. I do not necessarily find myself interested in this whatsoever. It's a pretty palette, but I'm just not interested. I also don't necessarily like having that like yellow tan kind of transition color. I just don't like that color. So that's me being super picky, but then again, you guys know how picky I am. This entire palette is okay, but it's not like that interesting to me, so this is just a pass. I do want to mention that Looksy Beauty right here is launching a few new eyeshadows as well. This is a collection PM3 and it is launching on the 31st of May. I think it already launched then, and it'll be available for $4 each. Like these pans will be available for $4 each. Now, I actually really do like this collection because of how muted the color story looks. I feel like it's a nice break from like the really vivid brights that we've been seeing, which I do love, of course, but it's nice to see a launch that has like a few like really just darkened, a few really beautiful muted colors such as this. These all appear to be metallic shimmery colors, which from my experience Looksy does really well. I will not be getting this because of the no buy, but of course if you're interested in getting these yourself, these are available on Looksy's website for $4. Now this really caught my attention. This is a collaboration between Beauty Creations Cosmetics and Annette69, and I believe this is an influencer, and this collection, it's a collection, it includes several different products consisting of an eyeshadow palette, which is going to be $23, with matte, metallics, and pressed glitters, a highlighter for $16, lashes, a gloss trio for $20, and then you can get the entire set for $69. This will be available June 6th, and not gonna lie, don't love the packaging. I feel like the packaging looks a little bit juvenile. I did not know who Annette69 is, so maybe this is her like personality in the packaging, which is totally fine, but this is just not me. Like I don't want this in my collection. I do like the color schemes, but I'm looking specifically at those pressed glitters, and I don't see those pressed glitters as being any kind of significant addition to my collection. I feel like I already have similar shades of glitters already to those, and when I think of a new pressed glitter that I want, I don't necessarily think of these particular shades. So yeah, the packaging in my opinion is a little bit juvenile. I don't really want to spend money on that, and also the pressed glitters, I don't really think I would be able to get a lot of use out of the pressed glitters, which greatly decreases my desire to actually own this palette. And when it comes to the lip glosses, I mean, I just don't really I don't really look at glosses and want to get them. And the highlighters, same thing. I already have so many highlighters. The only thing that might interest me from this collection would be the lashes. They look kind of really fluffy and really beautiful, but definitely not anything that I absolutely desire since I already do have so many lashes. Yes, I'm probably going to anti-haul this entire video, but I feel that there are going to be some interesting launches up ahead, so just hold tight. While we're talking about indie brands, we have this launch right here from Peach Co. Beauty. They're launching the Dreamer palette, which is now available, and this is what it looks like. It's a combination between mostly colors and a few neutrals. I don't necessarily love this color story. And yes, I'm being super picky, but let me tell you why. I feel that whenever I pick up a palette, I want the palette to have a purpose. I want to have, like, for example, a warm palette, or a cool palette, or a metallic palette, or a matte palette, depending on what I want, or a rainbow palette. When I look at this, I think of so many different things. I think of cool tones, then I think of pastels, then I think of yellow, then I think of neutrals. See, like, there's so much going on in 9 pans that I don't necessarily want this. You know, like, I see some colors in here that I really like. I love the last column with the purple, the green, the yellow, but with everything else in this palette, like, I'm just not interested in any other shade in this palette, except for maybe the pink, but that's it. Like, I just don't want most of the shades in this palette, meaning that, like, this palette wouldn't necessarily be a good purchase for me if I was going to get it. So this is definitely not going on my wish list whatsoever. Next, I want to talk about September Rose Co. They're coming out with a brew palette. This is available now for pre-order for £19.99. It is vegan and cruelty-free. Now, this is a neutral palette, so I will not be getting this whatsoever. I feel like I kind of feel bad for like bashing on indie brands. I mean, I'm not trying to bash, but like I'm just giving you guys my own just unfiltered opinions. I'm not gonna like every single indie brand release that comes out. I'm just not. But I will be giving you guys my honest thoughts and opinions. I do want to include as many indie brands as I can in these videos because I want to spotlight them, because I want to show you guys something that you guys might potentially really like. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to try to sugarcoat something just because it's an indie brand. You know what I mean? I'm going to treat indie brands just as I treat mainstream brands when it comes to critique, when it comes to talking about whether or not I want them. And this is not something I want because it's neutral. So if you're interested in warm tone neutrals, this might be for you. Oddly enough, we had a lot of like just donut inspiration in this particular week. Starting out with this launch from Sugary Cosmetics. This is called a donut palette, and they're also going to be launching lashes, and this is all going to go under the donut theme. So the palette itself has a whole bunch of like really bright and vivid colors, including, from what I can tell, to be one pressed glitter, and then the lashes like are like in this really like cute like donut packaging. I love the packaging on the lashes. I feel like it's adorable. However, here's like my one critique with the palette. I mean, you guys know I love a very good bright palette, you know? And I feel like this palette is like really cool, really interesting. However, I wish that they had maybe used all the space in the palette for eyeshadows instead of just having like roughly half the palette for eyeshadows and then the other half for like a graphic of donuts. I feel that this is a waste of space, and I feel that this is a waste of basically resources, and I just don't like the idea of having any brand, large or small, release a palette with so much unused space. It just seems a little bit pointless to me. So like that's the one thing that I don't like. Everything else does look kind of interesting. I feel like this is one of the only or one of the few launches that I actually really do like. The other donut launch that I want to include in this video is from another brand. This is called the Spoiled Lips Cosmetics Donut Palette. It is launching June 7th. Now, I don't love this palette as much as I do the other one. I will say that this palette, in my mind, represents donuts a little bit more accurately, because not every single donut is going to be covered in sprinkles, and not every single donut is going to be like very vivid in color. Most donuts look like this in terms of colors. So like this is an accurate donut palette, I guess, but like it's very neutral, so I don't really like neutrals. Plus, I mean, I feel like the two colors in the center. Oh, that's thunder. The two colors in the center, I think that's like a baby blue. I mean, I just think that that's kind of random, and I just don't really get that particular aspect. So yeah, this is a cool palette. However, is it for me? No, not really. I also want to say really quickly that Blush Tribe and Paulina are releasing the another round of their collaboration palette. Now, I personally did not get this palette, nor am I going to be getting this palette again, but everybody really enjoyed this palette from what I could tell, and I think that this color story is so unique and so lovely. They have 500 units of this, so if you wanted this first, or if you wanted this and you didn't get a chance to get it, get it. I mean, I'm not going to because I'm on a no-buy, but I think that this is a beautiful palette. From what I can tell. I mean, I have not actually tried it, but from what I can tell, this is a beautiful launch. Now, let's talk about Love Luxe Beauty. They are launching two new palettes. One is called Something Gorgeous, and then the other palette is called Something Fun. These are 9-pan palettes with varying finishes, but one is cool tones with some blues, but mostly greens, and then the other is warm toned with some orange, some pink, and some like just purpley colors. I love both of these. If I could, I would get both of them. They're just so pretty. They remind me a lot of like the well, in particular the green one reminds me a lot of the green palettes that have been launching recently, the green and blue ones, but it's a little bit more condensed, and I will say that I love all the colors in both of the palettes. The only color that I'm not obsessed with in both of the palettes would be like the sort of like the peachy color in the upper left hand corner of the pink palette, but every other color I absolutely love. This is actually a launch that I really do like, and the packaging looks really beautiful as well. ColourPop is launching these blush highlight sticks, and these are basically going to be blush highlights in a stick, and these are supposed to be hydrating, luminous, natural looking on the skin, formulated with vitamin E, and you'll be able to get these individually for $8, and then they also have some bundles for $22, and you get, I believe, 3 products in each bundle. I'm not like a really big cream face product type person. The only kind of like cream liquidy kind of format that I like would be for highlights. And when it comes to like blushes, I mean, I don't really wear blush, but when I do wear blush, I prefer powder. So this is not for me. Now, Stacey Marie MUA and Be Perfect Cosmetics have released a sneak peek swatch of their new collaboration. I don't know about you, but I love this. Like, I love this color scheme from what we can see of it so much. I love like the shades. These look like really just cool and interesting colors. So I'm looking forward to seeing the finished palette or the finished collaboration. This looks interesting. We finally have a look at the Jouer Tan Lines collection. This is for summer 2019. Now, I want to actually focus on the eyeshadow palette here. I mean, they released a sneak peek of this, I think it was like a few weeks ago, and I predicted that it was going to be like a pastel kind of palette, but I felt like they were going to include some neutrals in here, or at least more neutrals than colors, and I feel like in that way I was kind of right. I mean, they are including like half neutrals and half colors, like half neutrals, half colors roughly, but from what I can tell, it's just not the palette for me. I like about half of the palette, and that's it. And then the other half is very neutral, and I just don't find myself interested in it. It's a really nice condensed palette. So if you are somebody that wears both neutrals and colors, or a combination of the two in one look, you might like this. However, I do not like this at all. I'm just not really into like the neutrals at the moment, so this is not anything that I am interested in whatsoever. Melt Cosmetics is releasing something called the Impulsive Eyeshadow Palette, which is going to be exclusive with Sephora. This is consisting of 18 shades with varying finishes. Now, they divided this palette into 2 sides, and each side is supposed to represent something. Now, the right side, and I'm reading from Trend Mood, the right side of the palette is inspired by the early years before Melt and the friendship between co-founders Laura and Dana that started it all. It showcases cool toned shimmers and holographic foils, 9 metallic shades packed to the brim with pearl. The left side of the palette features 7 dangerously bold mattes in vibrant colors and 2 vivid shimmers that were inspired by their love for unique colors, but more importantly, they were inspired by their fun and fearless customers. Now, the entire palette is going to be retailing for $65. In my personal opinion, getting 18 Melt shadows for $65, I feel like that's pretty inexpensive, considering that Melt usually prices their shadows pretty high. I mean, we've all seen the stacks, and those stacks are expensive. I mean, $10 a shadow is, in my opinion, expensive, but the swatches look absolutely beautiful. I would like to maybe do a look inspired by this palette. We will see, but of course, I will not be getting this, nor am I particularly interested in getting it. I mean, it's just, I I already can dupe so many of the shades that are in this palette with shades in my own collection, so this is just a pass. Now, Jeffree Star is launching glosses. Now, they have so many different shades. They have 18 shades with 2 different finishes. They have a glitter finish and a shine finish, and these are all the shades right here. Am I going to be getting this? No. Number 1, because I already have a lot of glosses. Number 2, I'm just not that interested in Jeffree Star cosmetics, so this is going to be a pass. However, I do really like the packaging, and the range of colors does look quite unique and interesting. I also want to talk about this launch from Lancome. They're collaborating with the influencer Chiara Ferragni. Am I pronouncing her name right? I have no idea. Probably not. But I have probably not necessarily mentioned this that much on my channel because my channel is primarily makeup, but I am a fan of Chiara. Like, I follow her on Instagram, and she is an influencer, and she's actually one of the original fashion bloggers. Like, she is the biggest, and from what I can tell, one of the most successful bloggers in the world. She is my business role model. Like, I aspire to be at her level one day in whatever field I'm doing, because she is like, she just epitomizes everything that I want to be, basically. She is launching a flirting palette that will include 1 lip gloss, 4 lipsticks, 4 eyeshadows, 1 blush, 3 highlighters, a lip brush, a double eye brush, and a face brush for $55. She is also launching an exclusive packaging of the Hypnose Drama Volumizing Mascara in Excessive Black, and then they have a few lip products. Now, you might actually be wondering about like why the weird packaging, but if you don't know, Chiara is known for having her brand, her shoe line, or I feel like now it's her like accessory / apparel line, but she has like this really unique sort of design feature on a lot of her products that she has released that includes like these really like just graphic eyes. So they put those eyes on this packaging, and I feel like this makes the collection just completely Chiara. And if you don't know, Chiara also travels a lot. She's always traveling. She actually had this hashtag. I'm not sure if she uses it now, but she has this hashtag. It's called The Blonde Salad Never Stops. And The Blonde Salad was actually the name of her blog that she started out with. But basically, from what I can tell, this is supposed to be a travel-friendly collection. And from that perspective, it looks like a good collection. However, I do not like having lip products in pans. I just don't like that. So this eye, face, lip palette is not for me. I just don't want this. I don't want this at all. Like, I get from where she's coming from because she is a world traveler. She travels all the time, like pretty much full time. And this, for someone who has her lifestyle, would probably be an amazing palette because it is a palette that has all the colors that somebody would need if they love neutrals in one palette, including face stuff and lip stuff. However, am I somebody that wants a palette like this? No, I am not a world traveler. I prefer to have my stuff separately. Like, I don't want to have everything in a palette. And I don't like having lip products in pans. That's a very specific and very picky sounding thing, but that's just how it is. So yeah, this is not for me, but I am very proud of Chiara. I'm just really happy that she is like just taking such great strides with her career. She has had a pretty long partnership from what I can tell with Lancome, and I felt like this collaboration was a very natural thing. So I really congratulate her on this launch, but am I going to be buying anything from it? No. So my friends, that is the end of this video and this week's Will I Buy It? Quite a long one. This is going to be a little bit of a kicker to edit, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you. Oh, my phone just fell on the floor. Oh my gosh. Hold on, backtrack. Okay, anyway, yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching till the end if you're still here, and yeah, I guess I'll be seeing you in tomorrow, Monday's video. Bye guys.